Hello, thanks for joining me. My name is Yasmin and today I'm going to be talking you through a active recovery sequence. It's yoga based, low intensity, just to promote some blood flow to the muscles and help relieve tension, tightness. We're going to start on our back, so if you make your way down onto the mat, or if you don't have a mat, the ground is absolutely fine. If you do have a yoga block, that would be really helpful. If not, maybe grab a book or two. You don't necessarily need the block, but it will just make a couple of the poses a little bit nicer. Okay, so on your back, all the way down. Set yourselves up so that you feel nice and comfortable, and then let's bring the knees in towards the belly. And the first thing we're going to do is just gently ease your body in. So we can go hands on knees, starting to draw a nice circular motion with the knees, which transfers all the way down to the lower back. So just softening here, relaxing, easing your body in. And we'll do those circles in both directions. And then when you're ready, gradually easing yourselves all the way back to still. Let's take hold of the right leg, maybe hands on the shin, left foot floats down to the ground. We'll keep the left leg bent for support. Squeeze the right thigh as close as you can towards your belly. Think about making a connection. And then check in with that right ankle. Let's just start to circle. Take your circles in both directions. And then when you're ready, releasing through the hands, let's take the circles into the knee. So we're going to start to open at the hip by drawing a circular motion with that right knee. And just the same as before, we want to take that in both directions so you're nice and even, gradually warming the body up. And then nice and slow, squeeze the thigh back in towards the belly, extend the leg this time. If you have tight hamstrings, it might be that the leg is more bent, and if the legs are okay today, it might be that they're a little bit longer. In either case, we're going to try and point and flex through the foot. And then the option is there to use the hands to ease that tension, that tightness from the back of the leg. So you could think about massaging down the back. And then pausing for just a moment, let's flex through the foot. You can interlace the fingers either on the thigh or the calf and think about finding a slightly stronger stretch as you draw the toes towards you. And then release the hands. Let the leg rest somewhere straightish, foot flexed. We're going to bring your foot just slightly across your body. So I want you to think about maybe coming half a foot to the left. And then pausing here. Now the hips are grounded, and if it feels okay to, you're going to sickle the foot. Toes pull down, heel presses up. And then release, straighten the foot, bend through the knee, find figure of four. We're going to open up that right hip with the option to draw the left thigh in towards the belly. It can be with or without hands. And then nice and slow, float the left foot back down, unhook the right, take your feet as wide as your mat, extend those arms, and then let the knees fall from side to side. Windscreen wiper the legs. And then nice and slow, come back to center. Shuffle the feet to hip distance, draw the thighs back in towards your belly, big circles with those knees. And then change the direction. When you're ready, let's take the hands to the left thigh or left shin, right foot floats down to the ground. We're going to squeeze the thigh as close as you can towards the belly, and we'll start to check in with the left ankle, create some circles. And then release the hands. Take the circles all the way into the left knee, which will transfer down to the pelvis, to the hips. rotate those circles both ways. And then nice and slowly bring the leg all the way back to still. Let's extend the leg, taking it all the way up towards the ceiling. Thinking about lengthening, no pressure if the leg's still bent. We're going to point and flex through the foot. Stretching out front and back of the ankle, front and back of the leg. And then hold foot in a flex. And we can start to think about stretching out the back of the leg. Use the fingers to ease the tension through the calf and the hamstring. And then free the hands, interlace. Maybe they're holding on high, maybe they're holding on low, and you're thinking about drawing the thigh in towards the belly. Keep pressing the heel away. Keep thinking about the leg extending. And then release. Keep the foot flexed. Press the heel up towards the ceiling. Think about the leg being as long as it could be. We're going to take that left foot across your body to the right, maybe half a foot. And then we sickle, toes turn down, heel presses up. Hold it there. And then release. Lengthen, foot straightens, find your figure of 4. Ankle comes all the way across to the right thigh, and we draw the right thigh in towards the belly. You decide whether the hands are holding on or whether the hands are resting out wide. If this is too strong, you have the option to keep that right foot grounded. Think about actively pressing the left knee down if you stay there. And release. Both feet to the floor. This time feet together. Let the knees fall from side to side. Let the arms stretch out wide. And then the next time your knees fall across to the right, pause there. Try ground through the shoulders. Let's get the hands in line with the shoulders. And then I'd like you to think about your left leg extending. Keep the foot close to the ground. See how high you can slide that left leg. And then think about flexing through the foot. So you press the heel away. Maybe your gaze turns to the left. Maybe your right hand can reach towards your toes, or your ankle, your calf, or your thigh, and intensify that stretch. And then release. Float the legs back together. Come back through center and take it across to the second side. This time knees fall to the left. This time it's the right leg that extends. Think about pressing away through the heel, sliding the foot along the ground. Maybe the hand reaches towards the ankle, the calf, the thigh. And maybe the gaze turns to the right. And then nice and slow release. All the way back to center. Circles of the knees. Both directions. And then gently bring yourselves back to still. Hands on backs of thighs. We're going to start to rock forwards and back. So using your tummy muscles, so press through the feet, lift up through the chest. And we'll roll forwards and back all along the spine. And then eventually we can think about taking it all the way over onto all fours. So we can cross the legs, sweep over the top, set yourselves up, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Spread the fingers nice and wide, tops of the feet relax down on the ground, and we'll come for a little bit of cat-cow. As you inhale, try round up through the spine, arching through the shoulder blades, pressing up. And then as you exhale, elbows soften, chest and gaze comes forward. Inhale, try round the spine, arch the upper back, pull the belly in. And then exhale, soften, collarbone forward, chest lift. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, arching forward. 2 more, inhale. And exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale. When you're ready, inhale, find your way back to center. As you exhale, take your right leg out behind and really press through the heel. So you're trying here to find a calf stretch down the back of the right leg. Option to stay here, keep that active press away. Option to make it stronger by removing the left knee and pressing those hips much higher. So you're thinking about that right heel drawing down towards the ground. You're thinking about the belly pressing back towards the thigh in order to give you that nice strong stretch down the back of the right leg. You're totally welcome to stay in that first option, heel pressing, spine long. And then wherever you are, nice and slow, lower yourselves down. Let's all come back to the left knee on the ground and we'll swap sides. Bring the right knee back, extend the left. Ball of the foot to the ground, press through the heel. Maybe this is where you stay. Or maybe you take that stronger option, removing right knee, lifting the hips, draw the left heel down, press your belly back. So the sequence has a focus on legs today. We'll work everything, but it's mostly focused on stretching a little bit deeper in that bottom half of the body. And then when you're ready, lowering the right knee back down. Bring the left knee to join and just have a little wiggle, shift from side to side, adjust. Let's make our way up into downward facing dog. So we're going to press through the palms, tuck the toes, and then lift those hips nice and high. Now if you do have tight hamstrings, knees can stay soft, but I want you to think about gradually lengthening one heel down than the other, like you're walking on the spot. Let's go feet hip distance, so there's some space between the feet. And keep actively pressing the belly back towards the thigh. Keep the head fully relaxed, arms nice and strong. Slow breath if you can. And then when you're ready, grounding down through both the feet, soften through the knees, shift your gaze forward. On an inhale, step or hop feet to join the hands. Exhale, forward fold. Again, knees soft, let's go feet hip distance. Relaxing through the head, get your belly to touch your thighs. That's how deeply you bend the knees here. Relax your head. And then let's interlace fingers. Place them all the way at the back of the head where the hair meets the neck. Hug the elbows around the ears. And then really squeeze on the head. You're trying to create some length down the back of the neck. Option is there to add a hamstring stretch if you want to think about lengthening through the legs. But really focus on the belly staying close towards the thigh. So rather than arching highly, knees soft, belly on thigh, then the legs can extend. Release hands, soft knees, uncurl, let your head be the last to lift. And then when you reach the top, check in, head, neck, shoulders, give them a little roll. And then let's just shake everything out. So we step the feet nice and wide. We soften through the knees and give the arms a swing. Think about your gaze shifting over the shoulder. Knees are soft. And then nice and slow, come all the way back to center. Shift your feet, let's go hip distance, somewhere near the top of your mat if you're on a mat, and stand nice and tall. So notice your posture, if you tend to arch or lean in a certain direction, try find neutral, relax the shoulders. Take a breath in, reach your hands high, and then swan dive, arms go wide, exhale, fold it all the way down. Let's try that again, inhale, sweep up, knees bend, reach high, and exhale, arms wide, forward fold, knees bend. One more of those, inhale, reach up. Maybe this time the legs are a little straighter as you exhale, fold. Pause at the bottom, hands down towards the ground, bend the knees if you need to, relax the head. And then I'd like you to pad through those heels. So you think about straightening through one leg and then transitioning that stretch all the way across to the other, like you're walking on the spot, just like you did in your downward dog. And then nice and gently, grounding down through both feet, bend the knees as much as you need to get the palms flat to the floor. As you inhale, step or hop, take it back to plank. And then as you exhale, we're going to lower down. Bend through the elbows, knees can be on the ground for more support as you bring your way down. Adjust your feet to hip distance. Let's go hands underneath shoulders. Pressing through the tops of the feet, pressing down through the pelvis here, and pressing through the palms. As you inhale, lift your chest. Notice where the press comes from. So try to avoid pressing too strongly through the hands. There's a lot of support from the lower body here. As you exhale, lower back down. On the inhale, lifting up, press through the palms, press through the pelvis. As you exhale, lower. Now the third one we're going to hold. Inhale, pressing up. Stay lifted. Exhale, look over one shoulder. Try to see your toes. Inhale, center, bring it back, keep the height. Second side, exhale. Inhale, center. Exhale, lower, take it down. Take it back, child's pose. Press through the palms. Swing the knees nice and wide so your belly can rest down in between. And we let the bum sink towards the heels. Adjust your hands as much as you need. Let your forehead rest down towards the ground. Let your hips start to open here as your belly sinks down in between. Try breathing all the way into your rib cage. Feel the expansion in your upper back as you breathe in. And let your belly sink further down in between your thighs as you breathe out. 2 more breaths. And then nice and slowly lift your gaze, look forward, walk your hands across to the right. You decide how far. Let's go hands shoulder distance, and then allow the head to drop back down in between. Now if you wanted to make this stretch stronger, your left hand could reach all the way on top of your right. Think about the bum pressing back towards the heel. Think about feeling that length all the way down the left hand side of the body. Notice how high that left shoulder is because it sinks down any lower. And then even yourselves out. Take it across to the second side. Hands walk to the left. Maybe the hands are shoulder distance. Head drops down. And then the option is there for that right hand to rest on top of the left. Bum presses back towards the heels. Notice the height of the right shoulder. Could it press down anymore? And then slowly bring it all the way back to center. Ease yourselves up, find all fours. And then find downward dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Maybe give those heels a pad. Or maybe this time the legs are ready for something a tiny bit stronger. The option is there for you to take the weight back, belly towards the thighs, knees are soft. And then you could stack the left foot onto the heel of the right and draw the right heel down towards the ground. The straighter that right leg, the stronger the stretch is going to be. And then let's go for the same thing, second side. Soften through the knees, both feet grounded. This time right foot steps onto the heel of the left. We think about pressing the belly back. Draw the left heel down, lengthen through the left leg. And release. Both feet to the ground. Shift your gaze forward. Soften your knees. Inhale, step or hop feet to hands. Exhale, forward fold, head heavy. With energy, inhale, sweep up, lift the arms, lift the gaze. And then exhale, take those shoulders back and down. Interlace your fingers by the bum, squeezing shoulder blades towards each other. Come away from the bum here, lift your gaze, lift your chest. And create some space across the collarbone, the front of the chest. Maybe you can feel a pectoral stretch here. One more breath. And release. Just like we did earlier. Keep the arms wide, step the feet wide, soften the knees, and then shake it all up. Twisting through the spine. Slowing down the breath. And then nice and slow, come all the way back to center. When you're ready, let's go feet hip distance. Let's step your right leg in front of your left. And then if you struggle here with balance, stagger your feet slightly so you can bring that right foot much further forward and you'll feel more grounded. From wherever you are, we're going to go left hand down, right hand up towards the ceiling. Take a breath in. And then as you breathe out, we're going to glide to the side. Now try your hardest not to lose this inside edge of the body. So rather than relax down, we've got space on the inside edge too. And you're trying to create space all the way down this outside edge. Option to gaze down, forwards or up. And then nice and slow, come back to center. Keep the legs the same, release the hands, bend through the knees. Again, if you can't bend, step that foot further forward, knees bend. Belly comes onto the thigh, hands relax down, relax the head. Now you have the option to keep the knees bent here, or you could work on lengthening. Now what I want you to try and avoid doing is really rounding through the spine. That's going to take all of your stretch away. So think about belly and thigh connection, then the option is there to lengthen the legs. If you start to straighten and it means that your back does this, rebend, reconnect, relax the head, and then maybe just straighten a tiny bit. And then nice and slow, bend through the knees, uncurl, come all the way up. And then unhook. And we're going to do the second side. Set yourselves up, stand nice and tall. This time left comes in top. Feet can be closer together or staggered depending on how your balance is today. And then this time right hand is down, left hand is high. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, take it to the side, find that space on the inside edge. Option to gaze down, to gaze forward, to gaze up. Hold it there. And then release, float down. Knees bend, option to adjust the feet as much as you need. Belly on the thigh, head heavy, hands down. And then the option is there to lengthen the legs. Adjust as much as you need, think belly and thigh. And then soften, uncurl, come all the way back up. When you're ready, unhook the feet, give those heels a pad. Okay, one last standing pose for you. If you've got a block or books, go grab them now and set them up on the mat. You're going to think about stepping your feet onto your prop, and the goal here is that we can flex through the feet so that the heels are grounded and the toes are lifted higher. If you don't have a prop, you can do this without, so you have to work a little bit harder to lift the feet if you haven't got something to rest on. If your hammies are super tight, bend through the knees, and that's going to make this more accessible. So you can either do it here without, or you can do the exact same thing with the feet grounded, heels down. The more you bend the knees, the softer this will be. The straighter the legs, the stronger this will be. And I want you to watch out for the same thing in our fold earlier. So rather than having dead straight legs, but the back really arched and lifted, bend through the knees, connect the belly and the thigh, relax the head, and then the option is there to lengthen the legs. Hold, choose your variation, pause and breathe. We're going to hold it there. This is a really good stretch to stretch out the calves. If you are using a prop here, try to make sure enough of your foot is on it and that you're not just stretching out those toes. You've got the whole foot flexed. And then nice and slow, soften the knees, remove your props. Feet flat to the floor, give the heels a little pad, and then bring yourselves down onto all fours. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Bring the right leg into the air, let's flex through the right foot, pull the belly in, inhale, and then exhale knee to nose, round the spine, tuck that knee all the way up to meet the nose. As you inhale, re-extend, flex the foot, lengthen, exhale knee to nose, tucking, arching through the back, pull the knee up. Last one, inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. This time hold it there. Now see if you can lift your knee higher rather than your nose lower. See if you can press more through your palms, shift your gaze forward, and then place the foot down in between the hands. Now if that gap seems too small, then you can raise up onto the fingers or remove the hand completely in order to get the foot down. Set yourselves up, foot flat to the floor, foot in line with the hands. We're going to sink forwards and back. So you're allowing the hips to drop down. Let's keep the knee in line with the ankle, adjust as much as you need. And then we're going to take it back. Find a hamstring stretch. Think about lengthening the front leg. Now ideally, spine is long here, so if you're really rounded through the spine, you can lift higher. And if you find that too tricky to balance, take your foot just a tiny bit wider. Toes lifted, heel down, belly towards the thigh. Back nice and straight. Hands don't need to be on the ground. Sink it forward. Hips drop. Take it back. Leg long, back long. Doesn't matter if the hands don't reach the ground. One more. And back. And then when you're ready, we're going to free that leg, take it all the way back to where it came from. So grounding down through the hands. If the hand's on the outside, shift it to the inside. Sweep the leg back, knee down, have a little shift. And then let's even you out. Same thing, second side. Left leg extends, foot flexed, heel in line with the hip. Pull the belly in. Take a breath in. Knee to nose, breath out. Breath in. Breath out. Last one, breath in. This one we hold, breath out, tuck, round the back, press through the palms, lift the knee higher rather than nose lower. One more breath. Look forward, place the foot down, adjust as much as you need. And then we work on sinking forward, dropping the hips down, stretching out that back hip flexor. Spine is long, hands wherever is good for you. And then we take it back. Find your hamstring stretch. Again, doesn't matter if the hands aren't on the ground. Option to be higher, option to have the foot just a touch wide if you're balanced. Flexing through the foot. And then bring it forward. Sinking open. Stretching out that right hip flexor. Maybe opening up the left hip a touch here too. And then take it back, hamstring stretch. Doesn't matter if the hands don't meet the ground. Last one, bring it forward. And then take it back. Back nice and straight, spine long. And then bring the hands to the inside, sweep that leg round, knee to the ground, have a little shift. We're going to come all the way down to our belly. Let's find your quad stretch and then we'll finish up. So come all the way down however is good for you. Take your time lowering onto your belly. And then for this next one we find Sphinx pose. So we want the forearms on the ground, elbows underneath the shoulders, really pressing here. So rather than relaxing to the back, there's an active press down to create space across the shoulder blades. Fingers are wide, feet are hip distance or even mat distance. And then from where you are, let the right arm come across to rest down in front of the chest so that you can draw the left heel towards the bum. Now that right hand is creating your structure, so keep lifted, keep supported through the right so that the left hand can reach all the way back towards the foot and press the heel towards the bum. Now if the foot doesn't reach, you're totally welcome to grab a prop like a strap, a yoga strap, or some sort of tie to draw that heel closer towards the bum. If you want more of a stretch here, press your pelvis down to the ground. That's going to intensify the quad stretch. Hold it there, pausing, breathing. Heel drawing down towards the bum. Pelvis pressing in towards the ground. supported through that right shoulder. And then release, leg down, switch sides, supporting now through the left, right heel towards the bum, pressing down. Again, option to use props if you need it. Squeeze the glutes, press the pelvis down. Feeling strong, supported through that left shoulder, left forearm. And release, leg long. Come down, make a pillow for your head, rest your face on your palms, and then give those hips a shuffle from side to side. And then nice and slowly bring the hips back to still. Ease yourselves up. We're going to come onto our bums. And we're going to do just a couple of stretches together now. Let's go legs wide. You decide how wide is comfortable. So if maybe this is your max, bring it in just a tiny bit. Think about flexing through the feet, so you're encouraging the backs of the legs to lengthen, and try your hardest to sit up tall. So if you did have blocks or books, you're welcome to sit your hips on there, and that's going to help your pelvis tilt in the direction that we'd like it to travel. No problem if not, we can manage without. Lengthen the spine. Think about the pelvis rotating forward to come belly in between the gap of the thighs. Hands can glide alongside the ground, and we're just going to take a little while here, so there's no rush. Think about gradually breathing as the chest comes forward. Think about gradually folding. Really doesn't matter how far you go as long as you start to feel the stretch on the inner thigh. Maybe the forearms come down, maybe that's way too much today. Just listen to the body, no pressure, no rush, give it time. Maybe the head starts to relax. Pausing here, breathing in. And as you breathe out, maybe you sink just a little bit lower. Thinking about the belly coming down towards the ground, the pelvis tilting. Two more breaths. And then nice and slow, ease your way back up. Ease your legs together. Give those ankles a wriggle. And then we're just going to finish with a twist, bending at the knee. We can go feet hip distance, or you can have the feet closer towards the bum if that feels more comfortable. Arms stretch out nice and wide. Flip one palm, doesn't matter which. Inhale, reach up. And then bring that across as you exhale. We're going to twist across the body. Now find a rotation, so long through the spine, pressing through the arm. Spare hand can sweep round behind the bum, and then shift your gaze. Look all the way over that back shoulder. And then nice and slow, ease it back. Arms wide, let's even you out. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring it across. Lengthen, twist, adjust as much as you need. Shift your gaze towards the back shoulder. And release. Thank you ever so much for giving that a go. I hope you feel a little bit looser, a little bit more relaxed. Have a lovely day. Namaste.